What we're looking at here is a ZZ4 short block that I purchased some time ago to go into a 1970 MG Midget. When I bought the car, it had the little 283 that's in the background in it. And I wanted a little bit more motors, so I bought the ZZ4 short block. I have added the windage tray and the studs to the block, as it did not come with that. Also, this oil pump is one that I had brand new. It's been sitting for years. It's a Moroso 22110. I believe that's the correct part number. It has anti-cavitation grooves in it. I personally did not need that for this little build, but I had the oil pump. It's a high volume pump, and so I used it. I changed a few things on it. I cleaned the pump out, deburred it, added the different bolts, and safety wired the head to the pump housing so that it cannot come loose. I have also added the double row timing chain. All that's very common though for small block Chevys. Everybody does this. However, this is a Chloe's True Roller. And the camshaft that I'm running is a comp cam. It's known as a CC306. The grind's a 290. It's a hydraulic roller hill. I can't remember the part number off the top of my head, but I can tell you that it has 229, 245 duration at 50. It's ground on a 112 lobe separation, and it's ground with the 108 intake center line. Has 510, 540 lift with the 1.5 rocker. I degreed the cam, and it's right on the money, so I'm happy with that. I could run 1.6 rockers and pick up maybe somewhere between 5 and 8, maybe 10 horsepower more, but I don't need that, so I'm not going to do that with this engine. I'm trying to keep it very simple for longevity. This will not be a race motor, but it'll be a very stout little street motor, and in a 1,600-pound MG Midget, it should run very well. I will be running AFR Enforcer heads, which have a 195 cc unported runner on the intake 64 chamber and a 202/16 valve. I bought originally some AFR 195 street port heads to run on this motor, which are CNC ported. However, those heads have a 205 intake valve, which is fine, which will work on a 350. But these ZZ4 hyper-atticted pistons have small eyebrows for the valve reliefs. And I was afraid that the 205 intake valve, since it has been moved, I believe it's either 50 or 80 thousandths away from the exhaust port, I was afraid that it would hit the edge of the piston, the intake valve. So I just decided to go with the Enforcers. And the Enforcers flow roughly 250 CFM on the intake, which is more than enough for what I'm doing with this little motor. I'm hoping that this little motor, I won't dyno it, but I'm hoping that it will make somewhere in the 415 to 425 horsepower range. Let's see, what else can I say about the little engine? It has, the static compression ratio will be 9.98 to 1. Dynamic compression ratio will be 8.37 to 1. I mic'd it out, and it has 27 thousandths clearance at top dead center, piston to deck clearance. I'll be running a 15 thousandths gasket, which will give me a 42 thousandths quench area. I wish it was a little bit tighter, but 42 will work okay. I'll be running a Holley, I can't remember the EFI. It's a Holley EFI, but it looks like a Holley carburetor, not the regular sniper system. And I'll be running a high-rise dual plane intake from Speedway. It's not a name brand. It's not a Max Daddy intake. It's just a simple little high-rise dual plane. This motor is not going to be a race motor. It's just going to be a simple, everyday, street-driven engine. And I'm not trying to make max power out of it. One interesting thing I found was I'll pan down, look down here, down, you see that plug? That's a core sand plug. Just by coincidence, I was looking in the water passages and I seen that plug. And I didn't know what it was at first, and I started digging it out. There was two of them. The first one, see down here, that's all smashed up sand. As I was getting it out, I realized that it was a sand core plug. And I smashed it out, and lo and behold, after I got all the first one out, I looked in, and I had the second one. So I got it out whole so that we could, so that you could see it. The reason I'm showing you this is when you get a new engine from GM, I have learned from this now that you will need to wash that block out ultra well with water before you put it up and run it in your car, because you'd hate for that sand to clog up the radiator. So I don't think it'd clog up any pores in the head or the block, but it could sure clog up the radiator. One more note that I will make before this runs out. I only have a few seconds, excuse me, for panning around. The oil pan in the center is what I'm running. You can't really see it in this video. It's a 5-quart pan. The one on the right is a 4-quart brand new pan, but since I'm running the high volume oil pump, I'll be running the 5-quart Mercury Marine pan that I robbed the baffles out of the one on the very left and installed into the Mercury Marine pan for oil control. So hopefully this will turn out to be a nice little motor when I get done with it, and I'll shoot more videos as time warrants. Excuse the mess in the garage. It's a disaster in here. Have a good day.